UFC 318 has just come to a close, and I am going to be recapping all of the best fights on this card, as well as giving out my fight card awards. Now, for this card, I actually did enjoy it, especially from the start, because the prelims were really good. We got finish after finish after finish. Felt the card was going really quick, and for predictions, went 8 out of 14, so got over half, and the prelims, I did extremely well on. I only got one wrong, which was a split decision loss. I did pick Prado, and Versace did get that one through. And the main card, your boy stunk up the gaff. I lost every single fight on the main card. I mean, D-ROD, Michael Johnson, these 5-1, 6-1 dogs just whipped those wins out of their asses. They did an incredible job in their fights, which we will get into. But yeah, 8 out of 14 overall, not too bad. And we did have some pretty memorable moments on this card, which most of all, mainly is the main event. The main event between Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier for the BMF belt and Dustin Poirier's retirement. Now, I do think Dustin honestly did look very good in this fight. I mean, going from my hot take video that I released saying that I thought that Dustin would be able to take Max out, was definitely wrong there, but there was a very, very strong chance that it was going to happen in the round that I thought it was going to happen in. And if it went any longer, there was definitely a strong chance it was going to happen. Dustin, in that second round, got Max in that very tight exchange, that tight boxing exchange, clipped him around the back of the ear, knocked off his equilibrium, dropped him down, and of course, tried to jump for a guillotine, and he did not get the guillotine, but at least he's got to try it once in his last fight. You know, I can't blame him for that. And he did end up in an advantageous position when the round ended, but that's just really my argument for Dustin Poirier as far as it goes, because I've just got to take it on the chin here. Max Holloway, he did a fantastic job, and the scorecards, I mean, 49-46 for 2 and 48-47. Honestly, I wouldn't really agree with that. I personally do think that Max Holloway got a 50-45 here. I think that he won every single round. Granted, Dustin Poirier did drop Max in the second round, but Max dropped him earlier in that second round anyway and outstruck him in that round. So I do think that Dustin ultimately, he possibly could have won that one round to get that 49-46 the second, but aside from that, Max did win every other round fairly clearly to me. He outstruck Dustin pretty much every single round, like literally, and he dropped him badly in that first round, dropped him bad, and Dustin did a fantastic job of scrambling on the ground, using really nice up kicks as well when he did get dropped, and made sure that Max wasn't able to get him out of there, and even Max was going for a submission at one point, so honestly, like, great survivability from Dustin early, because it would have been a pretty big stinker if he did lose in the first round by a KO TKO, but, you know, he did hold in there, and I think Dustin had a pretty good showing for his last fight of his career. Didn't get knocked out. Max did beat him, but Dustin did a fantastic job, landed some really nice shots on Max. Max's face looked worse than Dustin's by the end of it, just the power on his shots, and really cutting Max Holloway up with the jab. Like, the jab, it was really the jab versus the body kick. The body kick of Max Holloway. This is where 100% when he was opening with this, like I said in my predictions and my hot take video, if Max was opening up with the body kicks early and the leg kicks and really pumping the body to, and especially on that power side of Dustin, he was going to win this fight. And that's what he was doing. He was doing that so well early. I do think Max kind of slowed down a little bit around the mid-round, like around the second to the third. He was probably just kind of regather himself after Dustin knocked him down pretty badly. But Max honestly just showed a fantastic game, circled out effectively away from the power side, was landing really, really nice, fast, stiff, straight strikes in long combinations against Dustin, because Dustin would obviously try shield himself going backwards, and Dustin's defense, which I do mention in that hot take video, it's really good for stopping an orthodox fighter's power hand, because it just comes all onto this side of his arm. But when he's defending like that, the lead hook of the orthodox fighter, he's going to get tagged there, and Max Holloway was doing a good job of tagging Dustin Poirier with that lead hook, and that's where he's crunching his nose up a bit as well. Dustin was spitting blood, just spitting like, I think he spat like honestly like 20 times this fight. Ultimately, Max did a fantastic job overall. So did Dustin, but honestly, yeah, you got to give it to Max. He looks really good at lightweight. Like, his just power generation, the speed as well. He looked so much fuller, a lot bigger, and there was no way in the last 10 seconds. I mean, it wasn't like a Gaethje kind of moment, but Max, the speed and the power he had at that point was so deadly. Like, Dustin couldn't keep up with him in the last 10 seconds, tried to grapple with him. He was just trying to survive there. And yeah, you got to give him that 50-45 or possibly a 49-46. I just think he did such a good job, especially with those straight shots, punishing the body as much as he could and really chopping at Dustin's lead leg. And that was what was so important, as what I mentioned in the predictions as well. Now, for Max, what's next for him? Honestly, it's a bit of a mix-up at the top of the lightweight division at the moment. I mean, he's coming in as 5th. He's going to have that stock, and a lot of people are going to be wanting to fight him. And I think when we're looking at Max, I want to see Max versus Paddy. I think Max versus Paddy next for a number 1 contender fight. You're probably saying, Callum, Paddy got in the cage with Ilia Topuria at 317. He's going to be fighting Ilia Topuria. Not necessarily. Dana White didn't really like it, and I mean, he kind of makes those decisions at the end of the day anyway. Granted, Ilia versus Paddy is a money fight. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that they're going to make Ilia versus Gaethje next. I think Gaethje has done a lot for the UFC. He does deserve that title shot, honestly. And I think Ilia versus Gaethje, I think Ilia's going to knock Gaethje out, to be honest. Just the defensive awareness isn't the most fantastic, and Ilia at lightweight is obviously a serious fucking problem with his power, which Charles got shown. And then I think Charles is going to come back later on. He's going to fight one of these guys after they either win or lose or something like that, like someone like an Arman or a Hooker or someone like that. But when it comes to that, I think we're going to get Arman versus Dan Hooker as well. So I think we're going to have Arman versus Hooker, we're going to have Ilia versus Gaethje, and then we're going to have Max Holloway versus Paddy Pimblett. I think somewhere around maybe November for that number 1 contender fight. That's going to make a lot of sense. I mean, Paddy's looking fucking massive at the moment, and Max took a fair bit of damage in his fight in 318. So I do think we're probably going to be looking at that. And then Arman versus Hooker, I think we're probably going to be looking in September, hopefully for the Perth card for the fight night to headline that, because hopefully I can go see that. But otherwise, yeah, I think that Max Holloway, he had a fantastic performance here. He's got the BMF belt. People are wanting that, I guess. And Arman, I think he's not going to be getting a title shot. Dana doesn't like him. He needs to fight someone else as well. So Arman to fight Hooker. And then I think Paddy Pimblett, him being like 10th ranked at the moment, if he can jump through and beat Max Holloway, man, that's a money fight in itself. So that could honestly headline a pay-per-view, to be honest. So those two fighting each other, whoever wins that can fight Ilia after Ilia is done with Justin Gaethje. So that's what I'm looking at here. And Dustin Poirier, to touch on it for the final time, what a fantastic career this guy has had. He absolutely destroyed Conor McGregor. I mean, Dustin's living rent-free in Conor McGregor's head at this point. I mean, same with Khabib. I mean, he's just a very classy guy, you know. This event was for him, and it was for a reason, and I definitely don't argue against it. I hate the BMF belt, but I honestly think if you're going to give anyone a main event and make it about them, it's Dustin Poirier. I mean, the guy has just been a stud for the UFC. He's put on some amazing wars. I mean, he's fought for the title numerous times. Granted, didn't go his way, but he's just so classy whenever he does fight, and he always puts on entertaining fights, whether it's with Conor McGregor, whether it's with Dan Hooker, whether it's with Justin Gaethje, whether it's with Max Holloway. The guy is just a stud for the UFC, and it's going to really suck ass to not have him anymore. But yeah, what a great way for him to go out. Happy he didn't get knocked out, but yeah, it was definitely the time for him to hang it up, I do believe. He could have had some other fights in there, but I think with the service that he got, the fan service here, it's just unmatched. Like, this is one of the best send-offs that we have seen in MMA history. So, yeah, definitely great for Dustin. I'm happy for him. Now, moving on to the co-main event, I am very happy with this, even though I lost obviously the prediction, because I had Roman Kopylov winning this fight. I thought he would be able to get the decision here. Roman Kopylov was switched off. Like, he was not throwing anything. He looked nothing like he has ever looked before. The guy was so gun-shy. He wasn't throwing anything. Like, he threw a couple of body shots, threw a couple of jabs, but aside from that, through nothing, no head kicks, like except for one at the end of the third round where he just slipped over. Literally nothing. But the thing I'm happy about is that old Paulo Costa is back. Still dog shit English, but the guy is on the front foot. He is scrapping. Great head movement. Head off the center line, getting those straight rights, wobbling bloody Kopylov like 3 times, using amazing body kicks as well, just like Holloway. He looked great. Costa, clean 30-27, got wobbled like once a little bit in the third round. Of course, Kopylov didn't capitalize on that. Costa, honestly, I was worried for him coming into this fight. Like, he's durable, but when we've looked at him in his past fights, he's literally 1-4 in his last 5, except for this fight. And he's just been on the back foot. He has been gun shy himself. I mean, he's been hurt in multiple fights. Like, he's super durable, but he's just not top quality. And I mean, a performance like this is showing a glimpse of the old Costa, and that's what I'm really happy about. And for Costa, obviously, he wants the gourmet Chechen. He hates him. He wants Khamzat Chimaev, and that's definitely feasible if Paulo Costa can get one more fight. If he can get one more win, and then Chimaev loses against Strickus, which I don't know about that happening, but if that does happen, he's got the Chimaev fight. I mean, it's easily sellable. Chimaev definitely thinks he can win that fight, and Costa wants him. So why not? Why not make that fight? But to get to that point, Costa needs another win. And for the UFC, I think they'll be licking their lips to get Roman Dolidze away from that top 10 and then putting Paulo Costa back in because he sells more. He's just more of a product for them. And Roman Dolidze, he's fighting Fluffy Hernandez in the next 3 weeks. I just think Fluffy's going to be able to outwork him, to be honest. Like, Fluffy is just that good. And the wrestling style of Dolidze, I just don't think it plays well into the game of Fluffy, and I think Fluffy's going to be able to beat him there. Probably beat him by a decision or probably a late submission there. And if he does, I think that, I mean, timelines match up. Paulo Costa's going to be able to fight Roman Dolidze moving forward. Does that probably in November, like similar to the time for Max Holloway versus Paddy. And then, yeah, if Paulo Costa gets that done, he's looking into that top 5 or for the gourmet Chechen. Definitely a good performance for the old Costa, like the Yoel Romero versus Costa. I'm very happy to see him. And he had some power in his hands too, which we don't usually see too much, but his power was there. He wobbled Kopylov multiple times, had his bloody mouthpiece flying out of his mouth. Definitely a good performance for him. And Kopylov, obviously, probably the worst performance he's had in the UFC, let's be honest here. Even with the Fluffy loss by submission, he still looked good in the first round. He didn't look good at all here. And I think Kopylov, I mean, he's going to have to put his number on the line here. And I think the guy that's on like a 3 to 4 fight win streak at the moment, Abus Magomedov, very fast-paced striker and has grappling as well. Kopylov needs to be tested with the grappling and needs a fun striking matchup to really entertain the fans. Roman Kopylov versus Abus Magomedov, definitely make that fight. Now, moving on to the Fight of the Night award, got to give it to Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodrigues. Holy shit tits, this fight was absolutely insane. There was 3 knockdowns in this fight. D-Rod got 2 of them. He looked fantastic in this fight, used really nice 1-2s, was really catching Holland while he was on the feet. I mean, Holland was rolling very well with the strikes, and so he had to, because if Holland didn't, especially while he's on the ground, Holland was getting split from consciousness. Holland was having really bad troubles with, I think it was his right eye, just cut around the eye. I mean, D-Rod was just a laser in those first 2 rounds, and he did a great job in terms of just rolling with them and avoiding those positions, even with submission-based positions as well. Like, there were points where D-Rod had, like, arm triangles ready to go, but Kevin Holland, he's just a guy that can survive. I mean, he is durable as hell, but man, he knows how to not get finished. You got to give him that. But they were on both sides. There were guillotines, there were ninja chokes. I mean, Holland in that 3rd round came back damn strong. Hurt D-Rod badly. Like, to the point, I mean, Holland got a lead uppercut against D-Rod in that 3rd round. D-Rod was moving in slow motion. He was like, eyes were rolled back in his head and he was just straight down like that. And I don't know how the hell Holland didn't finish him there. D-Rod was out on his feet and D-Rod still managed to stay in the clinch, avoid Holland's stupid knee in the clinch. Why are you flinging your knee up in the clinch like that? Just strike at range. Did not make any sense to me. And from that point, D-Rod managed to get him down, get into full mount twice after he got hurt that badly. It just showed so much heart, and honestly, a fight like that, a performance like that from D-Rod, seriously, with the UFC also liking him as well, like Dana White loves D-Rod, I think he's going to get a top 15 fight. And I think you make D-Rod versus Jeff Neal next. Jeff Neal at UFC 319, he's fighting Carlos Prates. I think Prates has just got too much for him with the power in his hands. I think he's just got too much range for him too. And D-Rod's going to have to take a fair bit of time off. He took a lot of damage in this fight, and Jeff Neal's probably going to take a lot of damage in the Prates fight. Make D-Rod versus Jeff Neal just a classic scrap towards the end of this year. I'd be super keen for that. And then for Kevin Holland, I mean, he did look good in this fight, especially in that third round, and he's got heart. And I want to see more striking fights from him, and I think there's no better fight to make, especially for some more entertainment value, is to make Kevin Holland versus Chris Curtis, because both of those guys are going to start chatting each other, that's for sure. And Chris Curtis obviously moved down to welterweight, got the split decision win in his last fight last weekend. So I think making that is definitely going to be good, right on the cusp of the top 15 there. Or if Holland manages to keep his ranking, Chris Curtis can then fight for the top 15 position. I think that's just a great fight to make, because we're going to get them yapping at each other, and they're both going to deliver with the striking. Now, moving down to our upset of the night, got to give it to Michael Johnson, 6-1 dog. I mean, he just looked good from start to finish. There's not too much to say about Michael Johnson here. He was so confident in that boxing range, and Daniel Zellhuber just could not compete. He just couldn't. Zellhuber was using some pretty nice body shots here and there. Just, like, they weren't just really doing anything, though. I mean, he was using some nice ones, but he was often, like, actually too far out of range. Like, he was even further away than his actual kickboxing range, so his legs couldn't even reach Johnson, because I think he was so scared about that counter-striking, like, boxing coming through from Johnson pressing on the front foot. So Johnson, honestly, he was just the bigger bully here. He was able to really utilize that boxing range to maximum effect, catch Zellhuber off guard, drop him, and yeah, honestly, he was never in any real danger in this fight, and he showed that he is a veteran that definitely deserves a fight up the rankings. And why not give him another veteran who, I don't know how they haven't fought before, but Michael Johnson versus Jim Miller. Make that fight. Make that fight for a couple months' time. I'd love to see that fight. Both of them do have heavy hands in close quarter exchanges. I think one of them would definitely get knocked out. So, yeah. Take my money if you're making that fight. Now, moving on to the finish of the night award, and I've also got to give him the performance of the night award, honestly. It's Ateba Gautier. Ateba Gautier, I had him as my fighter to watch in the predictions, and I do not regret that for a second. Fucking Francis Ngannou Jr. over here is a freak of nature. Finished the fight in a couple seconds, really. Robert Valentin had nothing for him at all. Nothing for him on the feet, just way too much power. The speed and the strike accuracy at kickboxing range has just improved immensely, which makes him so much more dangerous with that frame that he has, the power he has, the reach he has. Honestly, I mean, there's not much of the fight to analyze. It literally lasted a couple of seconds, but he had Valentin out on the feet like multiple times, and thank God the ref called it when he did, because he was going to get split from consciousness any second. But yeah, just the finish, nice and snappy, quick day at the office, perfect, literal, flawless performance. I don't think he got hit once in that fight. I'd have to check the stats, but yeah, looked incredible. Now, I want to see him, especially with that kickboxing, I want to see him move up in pedigree with the striking and fight Dustin Stoltzfus. Dustin Stoltzfus does have kickboxing there. He is a bit more durable. He does have a bit of a ground game as well, and he's quite heavy in frame, and I think that that would just be a good physical war, especially if Stoltzfus can really get into clinch range and really challenge Ateba Gautier there. I think that that would be a fascinating fight. But yeah, I think Ateba Gautier can get through Dustin Stoltzfus as well. I think he's going to be on the rise pretty quick, but definitely make that fight for a couple months' time. Now, moving on to the Fighter to Watch award, which I've got to give it to two fighters here, and they're both on the prelims. I've got to give it to one, the Versace model himself, Islam Dulatov. Dulatov is looking incredible, and lucky for him, not a scratch on him, but it's not really lucky because the guy just absolutely fucking destroyed Adam Fugit in this fight. Brutal knees in the clinch, really good 1-2s in orthodox, like the straight down the pipe was really dangerous, and the most dangerous thing of all was the check left hook that he landed. Nasty, nasty power. I mean, really good timing on his striking as well, and ground and pound and figured out. He looked incredible. There wasn't really much of a flaw for him. He really paced himself this time compared to previous fights he's had on the regional scene, because he's got a bunch of first round KOs just like this one, but he does tend to just really just gas himself. I mean, he's literally training with Abus Magomedov, so that's literally what Abus does. They're pretty much hand in hand the same, but Dulatov is very, very impressive. I think his striking is very clean. I mean, he's got the power there, he's got the accuracy there, and I want to see him versus Danny Barlow. Danny Barlow, who's got the left hand, a lot of power on that left hand, and we just saw bloody Dulatov land a check left hook here, so let's see whose left hand is going to land first. I mean, both of them are very fast, both of them have got a lot of power. I think that is just a barn burner waiting to happen. Now, looking at the last fighter to watch, I've got to give two, and honestly, I'm super impressed by her. Carli Judice. She looked incredible in this matchup. She kicked off the card in one of the best ways possible, entertaining the whole way through. Her striking from that Dana White's Contender Series fight till now is a serious problem. Fantastic striking. She's got great knees. She's got really, really nice 1-2s, a really nice straight left. She's just got really fluid striking, and especially in comparison to a lot of those flyweight girls, she's going to be a problem, especially in combination with the takedown defense that she was showing in this fight against Cagliari. I mean, she wasn't able to do anything against Judice. Judice blew up her face like a fucking balloon. I think Carli Judice is looking fantastic. I reckon you pin her up against like Juliana Miller. I think she takes out Juliana Miller pretty quick, and if she does, it's making statements in a division where you don't get a bunch of finishes. So I think if she takes Miller out, because Miller's pretty durable, takes her out, she gets a top 15 shot at flyweight, and I'm not going to argue with that if she's getting performances like this and like the head kick KO she got in her last fight. Seriously, impressive. But I really hope you guys enjoyed UFC 318. Obviously, Dustin Poirier's farewell. Max really solidifying himself in the lightweight division. We got the bully Paulo Costa back, the old Costa back. I mean, there are a lot of good moments in this card, as I've spoken about, and ultimately, I really hope you did enjoy it, and I really hope you enjoy your day. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.